So for the past 2 years, I've been using LumaFusion to create the videos which you see here on this channel. Most of the videos that I create is tutorials, but I also, pushed LumaFusion to the test to see what was possible to create using a $30 app. Now, the story behind me finding the LumaFusion app goes back to, I think, 2018, when we were traveling to Hawaii. I needed something to make my videos with, and that was the point where I really wanted to start getting into YouTube, to see if I could achieve any success on YouTube, because I've been watching Casey Neistat, Peter McKinnon, and Chris Howe for a very long time, especially Casey Neistat, and he was basically the person which convinced me to just go for it. Just test out, see what is working for you, and I found my own niche, which was LumaFusion. So that was basically the start of my LumaFusion career, if you may say it like that. And I had a Acer or Asus computer which I didn't want to bring with me because it was so heavy. It was 17 inches and it was just, I don't know how much the weight of it was, but it was so heavy, and I didn't want to take that with me to Hawaii to edit my video. So I needed to find something which was easier, and I didn't like iMovie at all. I wanted something which had a cleaner view to it and some more possibilities. So I found LumaFusion and I tried to edit some videos on the iPad, and it worked perfectly well. So I ended up spending some money getting a new iPad, which was a little bit faster and a better model and a better processor, so everything went smoother. Now, then we went back to the traveling part. We ended up in Hawaii, OAHU, and I did just I had my camera. It was a really bad camera. I think it was the Canon 7050D. That was my first proper camera, coming from an old iPhone, which probably would have been better to use at that point, but I needed some more details in the shot, so I went with that. I made a couple of videos. I also bought a drone just for the occasion, and I was so into drones. I really wanted a drone, and it wasn't really that many regulations when it came to fly the drone, so I didn't have many limits. And I took a lot of, cinematography type of shots, which I really enjoyed. The first video I also created is down in the description below if you want to check that out. The color grading is, it's a bit off. I'm not a colorist, nor do I, have the perfect eye for colors, and I believe that not many of us have that. But we just have to find our own desired, color type of style. Now, we're not going to talk about any camera gears in this video, just my experience of the LumaFusion app in general. So, like I said, I've been using this actively the past 2 years, and I think I've probably put LumaFusion to the test, and we created some pretty awesome things, all the way from effects to basic editing to intros to transitions to we have so many things which we can go back and look at if we need a certain type of effect for our video. And everything is in a separate playlist here on my channel, so if there is any effect that you are looking for, you might as well just type that name of the effect and then just RobHK at the end of that sentence, and you might find it here on the channel as well. Now, one of the biggest projects that I did was actually to make the intros, and some of these intros have, it took so long to create them, and I really wanted to sit down, spend some weeks or months to create this, to see if it was possible to create something similar to what I've done in Premiere Pro in the past. And I must say the result turned out to be as good as it was in Premiere Pro. Now, I didn't make the same type of intros in Premiere Pro, but from my past experience making intros in Premiere Pro, I think personally the result coming out from the intros that I created in LumaFusion is probably as good as it is for Premiere Pro. And that just you know, I've been reflecting a lot the past couple of weeks, and I've been struggling a little bit with the motivation to make these videos. Now, we have, you know, we bought a new house, which is awesome. I really love this new house, and the place that we live at is a really peaceful place. And you know, our son is just turned 4, so it's a lot of things going on now, especially with the moving and all of that. We spent so little time on the move. Even though we moved like 150 meters, we spent so little time on moving, and it was so stressful. We had to do some renovation. That's one of the reasons, you know, I haven't really been that motivated to create these videos. So I spent a lot of time reflecting back on, you know, all the videos that I created in LumaFusion, and the question is, has it been, you know, joyful to create all these tutorials? I mean, it's probably harder for me to create these videos because I experience so much more difficulties along the way than you might, because I'm really, you know, I have so many layers on the different things. I try to make it as little as possible so you have at least the least amount of issues when you are opening up the project file. And in some cases, especially when I'm working with 3 or 4 layers of 4K video, because 4K is the standard now. If you're not gonna make, you know, a fast moving travel video, you want to go with 4K for the quality, and especially for talking heads like this. Now, when I record this and I put overlays, I put my lower thirds, which you see here on the bottom of the screen or wherever I put them, those are also in 4K. So having more of these layers, and let's say, you know, I got a comment on the previous video as well, which one commented that I probably, you know, record my videos and then I record the screen of the iPad and I put an image on, and that's correct. That's the way that I do it. So I record the video and I import it into LumaFusion. I have a snapshot of my iPad, which I took ages ago, and then I take the screenshot and put over the screen record. I put over the image, and then I just size down the screen record to fit within the iPad. And I have the talking part, which you see right here. That's what I have underneath that, which brings us then over to 3 layers, and underneath that I have the audio coming now from the camera, and I do, you know, cuts in between to where I want to show myself, my talking head, and to where I want to show the tutorial or all of that. Now, having so many layers and different tracks of video and all of that, and the longer it is, you know, my experience from that is the more lag you're gonna have. And especially the number one tip that I have is always edit your video in the fastest preview mode, because then you will have less lag. Once you're going to color correct and color grade and all of that, which should be the final step before you tap the export button, then you go over to the best quality, because then you're going to see more details in your shot. It's just like working with Premiere Pro and After Effects, especially After Effects. When you do massive animation or edit your video with a lot of transitions and all of that, you want to have a faster preview of your timeline. And once you're going to do the color grading, you then up the quality, because then you see all of the artifacts which might, you know, come when you do the color grading, so you don't want to peak any colors. So that's one of the things which is really important with LumaFusion. Now, with the experience that I've had over the past 2 years, it's been rough. I must say, it's been rough. I've struggled with so many crashes and so many things, and I can't actually think of how many times I've deleted the app, reinstalled it, and then had to import all of the effects that I created to the app again, for then to repeat that process later, a couple of months later, when I'm working on a different project. So it all comes down to maybe deleting the cache files and cleaning up a little bit to prevent massive lag. And once I'm done with a huge project, it's usually like the minimum of 5 gigabytes, I always delete that project, or I export that project as a project file and then import the project itself over to an SSD disk. So I have the project saved just in case I need to go back in time and find something which was in that project, and then I can maintain the full 4K of that video. Instead of, you know, another way is to download a video using clip grab, but then you have to use it on a Windows computer because it doesn't work on a Mac. Or you can screen record the video on the iPad and then, you know, place it in your project if it is an older video that you want to show something or take something from an older video. So when it comes down to, you know, the professional part of LumaFusion, is it something that I can recommend to anyone? And is it something that I would like to, you know, for Peter McKinnon to use, Casey Neistat, some of those really awesome creators out there? Would I love to see those using this app to see if they can work it out and see if this is something that they can use for the future and to get their review of this app? Then, well, yes, I would love to see that, and I can highly, you know, recommend this to anyone out there which is editing videos, because if I reflect back to the videos that I have created by using this app only, and the creative mindset that I had when I created the different things, well, there's no limitations. There is a few, but there's not many, not to the basic type of editing that you need to do. So I highly, my honest opinion about this app, it took me 2 years to, you know, test out most of what I wanted to test out and most of what I felt like I needed to test out. And can I recommend this? And is it something, you know, yeah, it's a perfectly wonderful app, as long as they add new features which is related to the YouTubers, the content creators out there, and not only the professional businesses. Because the drive of this app, I believe, is the creators which we see here on YouTube, the tutorial makers like myself, and the vloggers, the reviewers of tech and all of that, which are making and editing their videos inside of LumaFusion. That is the biggest crowd of this app, and most of these people want a better color correction system, you know, stabilization, adjustment layers, you know, speed ramp, and probably a lot more. And like many of you, I don't see why we don't have any of this in the app already. Like I said, they have to remake the entire engine to get some of these things in there, but I don't think they have to do that for color correction and to, you know, make a beautiful layout, which is a lot easier to use and more convenient when it comes to, you know, color grading your footage. And an adjustment layer should not be, you know, it should be quite easy. I'm just speculating in these things here, but this is something that they actually should look into. I still pay for my you know, Adobe package, but I barely use it. And I also paid for Final Cut Pro, I barely use it because it's easier to use the iPad. I can sit wherever I want and everything is touch, so it's so convenient. And I can plug it to a monitor if I want to do that. I can add a keyboard if I want to do that. I can add a mouse if I want to do that. So the workflow should be the same as you have on any other type of software. So it's a little bit to get used to once you start editing with LumaFusion, but the learning curve goes so much faster than any other type of program. I know everything about LumaFusion and I know, you know, everything, but I barely know anything about Final Cut Pro, and After Effects I'm like the worst noob ever. And when it comes to Premiere Pro, I know a few things. So it all comes down to, what do you need? Do you need the best of the best to create the videos that you want to create or that you are creating on your channel? And is it enough to, you know, you can do a lot of different transitions, animations, everything you can do on the iPad with LumaFusion. So my 2 years of experience has been rough, but it's also been extremely good. You know, I would highly recommend this app to anyone, and this is my honest opinion after, just hold on. So when it comes down to the professional part of LumaFusion, I personally wouldn't use that sentence because, you know, professional, it doesn't really make sense. It should be, is LumaFusion a good alternative to Final Cut Pro and Premiere Pro? Then yes, it is. For professionals, I would say, you know, are you making videos in LumaFusion, and are you making them for your clients or for your business? Are you making money off of those videos? Then yes, it is for professionals. So I wouldn't say or use the word professionals. At the end, my conclusion is LumaFusion the next editing app, and do I recommend it to everyone watching this video? Yes, I would say so. If you have, you know, an iPad, you might as well get the app. Even though you used to create your videos with other editing softwares, you might as well get the app. It works on iPhones and iPads. You might as well get the app and then test it out to see if it works for you. It might be the next big thing, but in other words, it might not be the right editing software for you. But I highly suggest that you test out the editing app to see what, you know, it can do for you. And if you need tutorials, you know, we have 380 actually here on this channel, so I recommend that you check out any of those if there is things about LumaFusion that you want to learn. Now, so there you have my review of LumaFusion. It took me, like I said, 2 years to create this, and I should have done it faster, but I just, you know, I had other things to do as well. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video as well. Let me know in the comment section below if there is anything that you guys want to see in this app. You know, the more comments we get, the more likely is the chance that we can get these features sooner than later. And again, if you are brand new to this channel, this is the first time you are popping by, make sure to hit that subscribe button. That would be highly appreciated. And with that said, I'm gonna take this guy out for a walk, and I see you guys in the next video.